What's going on, guys? This is Bruce Matson, your host show, Metric Scout Fantasy Football, show that looks at all aspects of fantasy from redraft, dynasty, devy, all that stuff. If you're interested in that, hit that subscribe button. Today we're going to be talking about draft strategies, mainly zero RB, but in all, it's going to cover most of them anyways. But zero RB is when you come into the draft and you're fading running back position, and you're fading it pretty much the most of the draft. It may be double-digit rounds before you look at a running back, maybe 8th at the earliest, and you build your roster primarily of wide receivers. You may go early on a tight end, maybe a quarterback, but you're waiting on running back. It's an anti-fragility approach because when you look at the top running backs in the league that are getting drafted in fantasy drafts, there's a large portion of them that get hurt. They get injured throughout the season. It may be for the whole season, large portion, or some. But when you're drafting zero RB, you're trying to hit on those lesser-known commodities that experience spikes in value throughout the year or can get you X amount of points per week to fill the void by not having those running backs in those two spots in your lineup. Also, you're looking to be very aggressive on the waiver wire week after week after week. So when one of those top running backs do go down, you're trying to snatch that handcuff quick, fast. Whether that happens or not, whether the other guy in your league gets them, that's a different story. When you look at these lineups, though, after the drafts, if you've never done zero RB before, if you're not used to the strategy, it's going to be very perplexing to you because you have a lineup here, a roster that's stacked at wide receiver, possibly tight end, usually quarterback, and running backs damn near laughable. And that's usually how it is in most cases. And the thing about that is, yes, it's laughable. And yes, it's dangerous to roll with because there's a lot of risk there at the running back position because you have two spots there. And you may be lucky to hit double-digit fantasy points on a week basis with those players that you drafted at running back. However, you have no sunk costs at the position. That allows you to just keep pulling running backs off the waiver wire to fill that void and take advantage of the fragility of the system. You can also double up your wide receivers. You don't like them or whatever, you can deal them for a running back. There's just different things you can do. However, if you've never done it before, then it may be rough for you to do if you don't have experience with it. However, it doesn't mean you're going to have a bad team. It doesn't mean you're not going to win your league. I've personally done some zero RB teams. I've personally won leagues with the process. I like drafting like that, especially in seasons where ADP kind of falls for that. I'll do it, but I'm also not set in stone with it. I'll go robust RB. I'll draft ADP straight up. I'll draft best player available. It doesn't matter. I mess around. I mess around so I can tell you guys about these strategies. I put my money on the line in these drafts, and some of them, not all of them, so I can have that experience, and then I get in front of this camera and I talk to you about the strategies, about the values. I'm your guinea pig. I am. I failed with zero RB. I failed hard. What I find out with zero RB, it's a draft strategy that will allow you to shoot for the moon, hopefully land in the stars, but it can also nosedive into the ground because if you can't pull those running backs, you're screwed. Also, what people don't tell you, if you bust on those wide receivers, you're screwed. However, in your 12-team league, guess how many people's winning that league? One person. One person is winning that league. If you hit on that strategy, the odds of you winning is very, very high because you are stacked at wide receiver. You got a good tight end, quarterback, you're good. And if you hit James Robinson, another running back, or you're just streaming running backs and you're just lucking out on production because that is also in the realm of possibilities. You're getting a pass-catching running back, catches 6 checkdowns for 30 yards and rushes it for another 30. You get double-digit. And James Robinson's also there. You nabbed him earlier in the year. And your wide receivers always hit. You're golden. However, if you're not able to land that James Robinson, if you're not able to hit on the right running backs, you experience injuries at wide receiver, your season's over. It's done. But that's going to happen to the 11 other teams in your league. It's going to happen to the 9 or 8 other teams in your league who can't make it to the playoffs. So it is a risky approach. If it doesn't work out, there's no chance of you making the playoffs because you're not going to sneak in because you're just not built properly for it. If it hits, you're winning the league pretty much. You're a top contender. There may be one other team in the league that can threaten you. And usually when I hit on these teams, when I hit on a ZRB team, that's usually how it is. I'm the top team in the league. I'm steamrolling everybody. There's one other guy in the league who has a roster that could compete with me, and it's usually a war of attrition from there. Usually when these ZRB teams hit for me, they hit good, and there's very few times I don't win the league. I win the league more than not when they hit. However, when they don't hit, it's a faceplant. It is a big faceplant. And that's the risk with ZRB. That's what people don't like because they're scared of the faceplant because that is very risky. It's scary at the end of the draft day because you have these holes on your roster you know about and you got to patch them up. People don't want to patch them up. People want to tell you to not do that because they don't know how to patch them up. If you haven't done it, if you haven't been successful with the strategy, then how can you tell somebody how to run a ZRB team? And that's when you get these dudes that come in trashing on the strategy because they can't do it. They can't win with ZRB. That's what happens. And the thing about it is you can catch that same drift with robust RB. You're drafting heavy running backs on the top end, and then wide receivers are slimmer at the end. Notice those mock draft strategies I've been doing. I did a ZRB, robust RB, and on the robust RB, wide receivers got slim. It got sketchy. Those slim wide receivers, your top 2 gets hurt. You're screwed there too. There's no difference. It's hard to pull a wide receiver off the waiver wire that is consistent, that's consistently getting targets, air yards, or whatever, than it is a number 2 running back that just steps into a starting role because you know they're going to get some touches, and that volume is what matters most to runners. There's pluses and minuses to all strategies. They're all risky. Best player available is usually what's best, but also there's risk there too. There's risks all out through the draft, and you just have to be able to maximize your opportunities, know where you're weak at, and be able to do the best with your team. I like doing best available. I also just look at the ADP, really see where players are going, see where the wide receivers, running backs, tight ends, where they're strong at, where they're going in drafts, and just manipulate my original strategies for that. The leagues that I really, really care about. So usually like this year, definitely, possibly, more than likely, running back first round. Second round, more open to wide receiver, highly likely for running back, and there's a good mix at the top. If I'm doing a strategy, then I'm going to have an idea of what I'm doing going into the draft. But all in all, this is kind of a ramble video. This is what it's intended to be anyways, but there's pluses and minuses with all draft strategies. That's why only one person can win the league at a time. And I suggest if you haven't done ZRB, do a league with ZRB and mess around with it. Next year, do it again. And your goal should be to try to get good with it. That way you're good at all strategies. It makes you a better player. It's about getting good at everything. So when you're in that situation, say you got a robust RB team, something hits your team, injuries, suspensions on players or whatnot, you can adapt well to it. I can get a really bad team drafted, and I'm not scared of it because I know I can pull strings throughout the year. I know how active I got to be to make things happen, to turn that ship around. And usually with a ZRB team, you got to be very active on the waivers, on trade market. You have to have your boots to the ground. Robust RB too, because you got to be getting the wide receivers to hit. You got to be getting your tight ends to hit. You have to have other portions of your team functioning. Usually on robust RB, you're not as good at wide receiver, you're not as good at tight end, you're all right at quarterback because there's quarterbacks late, but usually you're not as good at those 2 positions, whereas ZRB, you're stout at wide receiver, you're stout at your flex, and it's an anti-fragility approach. Running backs at the top get hurt, and those running backs that get hurt can get filled by the guys on the back end that you can draft or pick up off waivers to fill those gaps. Don't hate on ZRB. Try it out. See how it works for you. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But it's a different experience. Don't look at a ZRB roster and think, damn, you fucked up. Damn, you messed up that team. Why'd you do that? Instead, be like, okay, this guy likes ZRB. There's something with it. This guy keeps drafting that way. Maybe I should try it. You should be open-minded to it. You should be open-minded to robust RB. You should be open-minded to all strategies because there's pluses and minuses to each one. You get good at all of them. I'm pretty good at all of them. There's not a strategy really that I'm scared of after a draft. I'm good at filling the holes throughout the season. I've had experience with all of them. Even with Dynasty, I'll go zero RB. I'll go robust RB. I've done it all. Mock drafts, real drafts, all of it. It's just something that once you get good at all of them, it kind of makes you better in drafts when you're playing straight up with no strategies because the flow of the draft comes to you a lot better. It's hard to explain. When there's runs on certain positions and you got to make a move, say you have to get a running back because there's only 2 left available that are even good, but you already got 4 and you're trying to build your team a certain way. And you're not afraid to miss out on that opportunity because you already been through zero RB. You already been through a robust RB, so you're all right taking an L out of position throughout the draft because you know you can make up with it later on waivers. But I suggest you just try out different strategies, get in different leagues, play in as many leagues as you can. Don't just stick with 2 or 3. Try and get in 8, 9, 10. It's not that hard to set lineups and whatever. Or jump in some best ball leagues. You can get an Underdog Fantasy. Use code Metric Scout. I forgot about that code, but use code Metric Scout. Sign up for a league and put $10, $20, $30 in, and they'll give you about $25 back to play with. Do a bunch of leagues. Also, those money leagues on Underdog, those best ball leagues, you can use them as mock drafts. The guys drafting with you puts money in. They're not going to bail on the draft in the 6th round, so you're going to get true ADP to play with, true feel of the draft, best ball, and seasonal. They're different. They're definitely different, but they also build on similar feels as well. So it gets you ready for your home leagues and whatnot. But I want to thank you for, listening to me rant. If you enjoyed the content, subscribe and ring the bell. Drop me some comments. Tell me what you think about ZRB, robust RB, draft strategies, how many leagues you're going to be in. Let me know. Is there any players you want me to talk about? Teams, philosophies, fantasy football, high school recruiting, anything you want me to drop on? Hit in the comments. I'll help you out. But I'll catch you next time.